In the Theosophy Society, there was a number of efforts to prove that if a man did not have any religions telling him what to do, and he didn't have any governments giving him laws, that he would naturally return to Adamic purity, because every man, they believed, was intrinsically good. That the God self, or Lucifer, that is in every man, is a good God, a God of love and a God of light. And if he was just left alone by the institutions of the world, man would gravitate towards goodness. And so they tried time and time again to establish little utopian communist societies. They were tried many times in Europe, many times in America. The woman on the screen is a theosophist by the name of Catherine Tingley. And she started one of these groups at Point Loma, California. It lasted longer than any of the other groups. But the problem was that after a while, people would get to fighting. Do you know what one of these men said as he observed this phenomenon time and time again? The problem is, we just can't find the right people to prove it. What the problem was, that man is not intrinsically good. It's part of the lie of the immortality of the soul and the lie of the nature of Satan. You take any combination of men without the power of God's love controlling their lives, and you put them together for 24 hours a day, even for a month, and you'll find a bunch of men who are going to try to kill each other. The nature of Satan will come out unless we have religion, unless we have governments controlling or giving us boundaries. We need that today. Annie Besant, the one that I had mentioned, that came into the Theosophy Society and was largely involved in developing the concept of civil unrest, pacifist resistance to take over governments, later took the place of the seer Madame Blavatsky in what was a portion of the society that was considered to be esoteric, or that which studies the metaphysical elements of things. Now, Annie Besant was an interesting woman. She was very, very brilliant. In a continuing interest to bind spiritualism with science, her and another man, a man by the name of C.W. Leadbeater, began to experiment with self-hypnosis, meditation, in placing themselves into the world of what's called astral travel, or having your mind or your body travel through the electrical vibrations of nature. And they claimed that they would be able to infiltrate the molecules and analyze the world of science by seeing the molecules in spirit form. And they published thousands of pages on this type of dribble. You can still see this stuff, and you can buy it today if you would go to one of these centers around the world. There's still a center in India. There's still a center in the United States. There's centers in London and other places. Now, Leadbeater continued this research, and also he trained young boys. He was a homosexual. He had been a Roman Catholic, got into spiritualism, adopted theosophy, started a Reformed Catholic church that was a spiritualistic organization. And one day, while one of the boys he was having an affair with, he claimed he noticed an aura around this boy that indicated to him that this boy was going to be the Christ. He continued to train this boy, and at one point the boy began to talk as if he was possessed by a spirit, and that spirit was Christ talking, and immediately tried to rush him to New York. The result of this boy, whose picture is on the screen, by the name of Krishnamurti, when he got to New York, the spirit left him. Why New York? The prophecies of the Bible indicate to us that the great movement of spiritualism will have its apex in its center here in the United States. And somehow the spirits guided them to bring this boy to the United States to announce that he was now the Christ. Well, he's not the Christ. Everything fell flat, and now he's one of the speakers still in the occult world that's believed to possess powers, Krishnamurti. Another man that Satan moved upon to take over the world was a man by the name of Adolf Hitler. He was a member of the Vril Society, which was a society that believed that the earth was hollow, that an advanced evolutionary race dwelt there called the Vril people and had the Vril power. And they believed that they lived in a place called Shambhala. He spent millions of dollars in the Third Reich trying to find the world of Shambhala to gain the secrets of the Vril power so that he could rule the world. Many didn't realize that. In the Thule Society of India, they used the swastika in the form of the destroyer. While when he was a child in Bavaria, in the little school that he went to, on the altar of that Catholic church, yes, he was a Roman Catholic, was a symbol of the swastika, because the Roman Church uses all symbols of the pagan crosses today on their altars. Now Hitler, and his face is on the screen right now, was trained by a medium to be a medium for spirits in an effort of Satan to rule this world through this man. But I want to tell you something else, that Hitler was called by the Roman Church the child of the papacy. As spiritualism and Romanism worked together in the movement of the Third Reich to take over Europe and begin a confederation of German states to systematically take over the world. He was closely associated with a man by the name of Himmler, who led out in the SS, and Himmler's uncle was a Jesuit priest from the courts of Bavaria and came to lead out in the SS. That SS, or that occult society, was controlled by the Jesuit order within it. And you saw the terrible results of Lucifer's conspiracy in Europe. Friends, do you think it's going to be any different here at the end of time? Do you think that falling for the New Age movement is going to make any difference? Mussolini, the picture on the screen right now, was a Satanist, and at the same time the Roman Church brought him to power. Do you think that the movements that brought about the destruction of Italy at that time during the war are going to be any different than those that fall for these deceptions today? Absolutely not. I beg you to study your Bibles as you've never studied before. And please, friends, do not give in to the movement of spiritualism in any of its ramifications. The word spiritualism is rarely used for this movement of the belief in the state of the dead today. It comes in so many varied forms that no one can escape it except those who are bound to Jesus Christ by faith. In the book of 2 Thessalonians, we read about the last deception of the human family. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivable of unrighteousness in them that perish. Real miracles, real wonders. And God has used the term all power. Evidently, for a period of time, God will allow Lucifer to use all his power of deception upon the human family. In biblical eschatology, we see that take place right here at the end of time. We're about to observe these manifestations, and it's described in this way. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying unto them that dwell in the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live. In these passages, there's a union of spiritualism and Christianity in a taking over of the minds of the nations of the world at the end of time. How did the union of Christianity and spiritualism bond?